Good evening, Jackal Den. I'm back to you, James, your prez of the Jackal Den. We've got Rick, who's our Jackal King, our rugby expert here. We've got our Jackal Den member, Dave Von Hooff, who's here, volunteered to come talk to us about what he saw during the match, how pick things apart. And our super special guest star, Dewy, Kotze. And I promise to say every one of your names wrong at least 3 or 4 times. So say it for me now. How do I say your last name?
Van Hooff.
Okay, both of you. Okay, Dave, gotcha. Okay.
Both at the same time, yeah.
Dewy, how do I say your last name?
My last name is Kotze.
Kotze. Okay, I love that. Okay, Kotze. So, Dewy's from, of course, from the Jackals. He was there on the pitch over the last weekend playing against NOLA, so he'll give us some great insight into this match, how things went, and also some good expectations about going up against Houston in the next couple of days. So a couple quick things to cover real quick. We had the tailgate at the last match, which was fantastic. Had about a dozen people out there. We had groups show up from both sides of the field to the tailgating, as well as some out of towners that from other clubs. So we had a family that came down to see the Jackals play New England, which was a part of the original schedule. And then the schedule shifted around. We didn't play New England this last weekend, but they were still in town. Still came out, had a fantastic time with us. So anytime you're in town for this, anytime you can make it down there, we start tailgating 2 hours before the kickoff. We're right at kitty corner from the Jackal, from the stadium entrance and Lot E on that on the southwest corner
of the
lot, exactly, right under the pine tree. I now have a big flagpole, so we'll have the Jackal Den flag out there waving, so everybody will see where we're at. We've got the barbecue grill set up. We've got coolers. We'll get some cornhole set up down there so we can have some fun. So that'll be a blast. Future games, one thing is I always bring up the watch parties for the away games. We do want to have those watch party locations. If you have ideas, if you have local places that you guys want to see the game at, let us know. If we get enough people that have a recommendation for a single spot, we'll reach out, do the confirmation, set up the reservations, all of that. We just want to make sure we get a place that's close enough to everybody where no one's traveling too far. So if you have a good spot, let us know. Again, every home game, I'm going to ask this question to all the fans. Give me your goods and your bads of the fan engagement across the board. Do you like the entrance? Did you like security? Did you like the merchandise, the food, the announcer, the pregame, the postgame? Let me know. I'm going to transfer all that information over to the organization, the admin, let them know so they'll continue to work on improving your fan engagement. We do know they're continuing to work on the sound system. I know that's been a thing that was a bit iffy the first week. It was better this last one. They're going to continue working on that so we can hear them better. The last one I've got on this is merchandise for the Jackal Den. Let us know what you want. The Jackals are putting out some amazing merch this year. They're doing a lot better than they have in the past. These polos they got that match the jerseys, that match the kit, these things are gorgeous. They're great material.
Kind of tight there, though, on it.
Well, I went to the gym today,
He's got a pump on.
Yeah, I get so excited and swelled when I come on the show with you guys. That's also my stellar dad bod. This is true perfection male physique right here. But let us know what you want.
Scarves. I've got plenty of those available. Just message me. Make sure I respond. If I don't, get back to me again, because I do get back to people quickly, and I'll get them shipped off at your cost, or we can meet up and I'll hand them off.
Absolutely. We always have some of those everywhere we go. And I love my creativity. I'm going to have this and start making a few more of these. I made my Jackals ring bands. Rick, I'll put some gold flare on there for you, but see if I can get a couple more of these printed out and passed around for people. Some fun stuff like that. So I want to kick into this last match. So Saturday, 7:30, we played against NOLA. They came out. NOLA is always a ton of fun to play against. The NOLA Gold Diggers, I think is what they're still called, their supporters group. Always a great time. That team on the pitch, man.
They're much improved. They're a much improved side from the last couple of years.
Yeah.
I'm sure Kotze could agree with this, but the team the last couple of years, they had it. If they make the playoffs, it'd be the first time that one of the original teams not the first time for them, but they would be the last of the original teams to make a playoff appearance. So I know they're fighting hard for that this year.
Yeah, I think one of the interesting things for me in watching this and kind of some part of the letdown on this was our new offensive coach, Connor. Didn't he just come to us from NOLA? He was with Free Jacks and NOLA and now Dallas, right?
Are you talking about Nate
I say,
Osborne?
yeah. Yes, Osborne. Yeah. I don't want to say
Nate
Connor.
Osborne, yeah.
Nate. Yeah, yeah. Didn't he just came to us
Dewy,
from
you can
NOLA?
speak
So
to this.
I was expecting a little more kind of knowing the inside game.
Yeah, I think we kind of spoke throughout the week, kind of like looking at their games. NOLA, especially in the first half, they come out firing, especially they have a 20-minute period. And I think that's kind of every game, especially at home, we've had that 20-minute period where we seem to just really lose our focus.
Mm-hmm.
And against a team like that, where they have a really good back line and they seem to be firing, that like we said, that 20 to 30 minutes, they were firing. And that's kind of where we went like in the dark. So I think it wasn't so much that we didn't know what was coming. I think it was just like we said, every game there's kind of been that 20 minutes of like missed focus that we've had, and then the 60 minutes of playing really well. So I think we just really been working on playing a full 80 of knowing what we can do, like what we've been doing like the preseason first few games, kind of working on building on that.
Yeah, because I know we were talking with Brock about how it's usually the first 20 of the second half. And actually, the first 20 of the second half against NOLA was quite good.
It's a lot better. Yeah.
So much improved performance, coming out of the break. But yeah, that, though we thought, the water break there at the 20-minute mark might help us out, give us a moment of rest. But that didn't appear to help out too much. I know we kind of caught back up there near the end of the half, but that you're right. It was about 14 minutes to about the 36-minute mark, 37-minute mark, where we seem to lose touch with things, mainly on the defensive end, I would say.
Yeah, I think it was like the focus on the defensive end has come a lot to we put ourselves in a really bad position on our alignment, which we would always be on the back foot. And when you're on the back foot, it's a rough day defending. And I thought like after the second half, we came out way better. But like conceding 4 or 5 tries within 20 minutes, it's always a really hard time coming back from that.
Yeah.
Dave, give me your input there. What'd you see and what was your takeaways from this?
So initially in the first half, one of the things I noticed is the Jackals like to attack. You like to run at the line. But it seemed like the second or third phase was not there. And we were isolating our initial runner in. And the times when we did string him together, the second, third phase folks are right behind. And then we're lethal. That ball was slinging across the field. We were punching holes through them. We're absolutely lethal. But it's almost like we needed that confidence to back up the guy who's punching, that don't wait for him to fall down and start a more let's we had to get in and attack. But I think also one of the things that hurt us a bit was especially in that first 20-minute side, was one of the calls. NOLA kicked the ball down towards our goal line, and we were going back to fall back on it, and the ref stopped play and brought it back to the other side of the field, and that disjointed us, and they ran a try right after that.
Yeah.
So a lot of the calls on this one were really strange, and I think I think strange is a good word for it. And I think in one of the things that we on the fan side that we've got to work more with Lawrence, our announcer, on some of this stuff is I'm sorry, there's a penalty called or a whistle blown or even a card, and we have no idea what's going on, and we're kind of left to whatever Rick can see because he's the one yelling what's actually happening on the field from the stands. But I felt like a lot of this, and I love the game and I follow it, but I'm still learning all the different hand signals and what goes on down there. And for some of us, it was after the game had picked back up, where I was still asking the person next to me, like, what was that? What happened? Why did that? What what did the refs see there? What went on? And it was this match more than some of the past. It just seemed very, from the pink, seemed very disjointed.
So my opinion on that, I love Marquise. I think he's a great guy. I think he can be a good ref. He was seeing the game very slow, in my opinion, and was calling things very late when he did call them. And then the biggest problem we've had just playing out of that stadium is that there is no direct communication line between referee to what the announcer is hearing. So he's having to deal with a spotter and then with somebody else. And so there's multiple lines of communication. So we might get the penalty, the actual call for the penalty 3-4 minutes after it occurs. We're obviously, if you watch on TV, you're getting a live stream of the TMO,
right from
working with the referee on stuff. But we're not getting to hear or see any of that from inside the stadium. So we're really left guessing unless we get a very clear signal from the referee, which I didn't think Marquise did an amazing job at. A lot of the times it was just calling the penalty, and then it was he moved the ball around, and then somebody's playing the ball, right? So it was hard to tell from the sideline really what was happening out there.
Rick, it's interesting you say you felt he called a lot of them late, because rewatching the game, I felt he called them early. He didn't let the play continue, such as that one where NOLA kicked the ball down. If I was NOLA, I would have been upset, because the ball, you're telling me it's my penalty and I have the ball, but I'm chasing down the field.
I know what you're talking about. You're saying on advantage. No, I wasn't thinking about advantage. I was thinking like the two obstruction calls came. I counted it out literally 10 seconds after the ball had started.
Yeah.
So that's got to be seen like immediately. Like otherwise,
that's what I was thinking about too.
How is he getting a call 10 seconds after? Like, is somebody telling him? Like, we don't know, and that makes no sense. If he doesn't see it, it shouldn't be called. An obstruction call is not something that should be called by TMO. It's either by the AR, which it really shouldn't be. It should be the ref in the middle. But if it's happening 10 seconds later, either he's processing really slowly or he's getting the call from an AR. We can't tell. And so that was what I was thinking of those specifically. But there were other ones where, a penalty occurred and it took a few seconds. The play would go on a little bit and then he would make a call and bring the ball back. So there were instances like that. I know there were advantages. I think he's fairly new to being in the middle at this level. And so maybe that was just, first or second time jitters for him. But I think overall, when I watched it on TV, I thought he did a much better job than in the stands. And part of that is you're getting to see the behind the scenes. You're hearing him calling it rather than just seeing it from the side, not knowing what's going on.
Yeah. Dewy, I wanted to ask you, when you're down there on the pitch with the referees and with the sirs and when they're calling this stuff, how much confusion does it throw when these calls are delayed or not clear up front? I mean, that's got to be
not to name any referees, because
not in particular.
Yes.
Yeah. But yeah, how's that? It's got to be confusing and throw a wrench in the gears to try to figure out what's going on and get back in the play.
Yeah, I think for the most part, we'll eventually know what's happening pretty quick. I think there's always like frustration with some calls. I feel like with every team there would be. There's definitely some calls that would cause frustration for us, and I think we gotta, as a team, kind of get past that. Like,
adjust.
MLR, there's gonna be some bad calls. Like there are gonna happen. I think we just need to get past it and control what we can control. I think it's a big thing we've spoken about. Like, there's gonna be bad calls, but we just need to do what we can better, what we can control better. So those two mauls. I mean, my interpretation was after the initial hit is when the obstruction could be called. After that, if the maul starts moving and the guys are in front of him, that's not obstruction. But I'm not sure what the ref saw, what the call was. But we got to deal with it, right? Those are two key moments in their 22, like really important moments for us. So it sucks, but we got to learn from it and, move on.
But you'd broken away from the main pack. You'd spun off already. and he still called it as if the mall was still rolling. It's like, but you weren't even part of it anymore.
Yeah, so there was one of those in the first half, early on too, where we had a maul, and I, like you said, I had spun away and got tackled, and then he had said, gave them a scrum because he said the maul had like stopped.
Yeah.
But yeah, what can you do, right? Like you just gotta play what you can do.
I guess even if you pull the ball, just keep them all going, I guess.
Yeah, so like that happened, and then a few times later we had the same maul. I did the same spin off, and then it was a tackle. So it's just consistency sometimes. But like I said, it's a really tough job reffing, and like you said, he's kind of new, so all these refs
Rick,
are
I
getting
think we lost
better.
you on. We can't hear you anymore, Rick.
Rick? Oh yeah, no.
While he's figuring that out. I want to run over some of the numbers real quick on this game. So ending score, full-time score, Dallas 22, NOLA 35. Jakl scored 3. We had Martin Elias. I'm sorry, Dallas had two tries. Sam Gola and Damian Torres. Martin Elias is our kicker, gave us another 5. I think if there was one play in this match that needs to be on a highlight reel, it was Sam blocking that kick, grabbing the ball and going in for a try. And just that, like 3 seconds there, that was a fantastic, it just like, that's a highlight reel move right there that I think everybody kind of reaches for. And that was super cool to watch. NOLA had 5 tries on this one. Rodney Iona, Philemon, Luke Campbell, Ed Fidel.
Almost all of them occurring in that,
there we go.
10-minute period.
Yeah. And I think, and that really kind of shattered, I think, some of the drive. It was almost like the boxer got hit in the head a couple times in a fast row, and it felt like we took, a little bit long trying to get our footing back. And by that time, it was understandable. NOLA's a good team. I got nothing against it. And one of the things that I'll say, and so this before in the last one, I still think the Jackals are playing 10 times better than we did last year. I think now we're going up against some of the teams that have always wiped the floor with us. And now the fact that we have 22 on the board here, the fact that we held our own against San Diego to the very end. I mean, this stuff shows a ton of upward movement to me.
Yeah. And Dewy, I wanted to go to you on this. One of the things I talked about before the season even started was continuity. And I remember, playing lower level rugby, obviously. Yeah. But once I started playing with guys for a couple of years, man, you just read each other's minds. You understand space, where guys are going to go, how they're going to pass, everything. And that makes such a huge difference. I wondered how big a difference that made going from last year to this year.
Yeah, I think a big part this year is just like also just the competitiveness, just to make the squad. I think we picked up some really good guys. I think the competition and training has been really good. Like everyone's really pushing each other. And I think it's really made it hard for the coaches to select a team every week. Like there's been changes in the back and forward like every week. And I think that just shows the guys working hard every week to be in that team. And obviously it's still early in the season. I think we'll get more of the same team, or eventually same team kind of going through it once we find what we like. But like I said, like the competitiveness and training and like just the drive.
Two or 3 backs that would probably start for almost any team in the league that are not getting time at all with us, which is crazy. Part of that's just the international slot rule.
Yeah.
They can't play because we got too many internationals on the side, but that's just my opinion. I love having really good competitive internationals. I'd love to see a few more Americans sliding in. It was nice to see them go hunt down McKean from Quins. What a great get that is to go find an American eligible player playing over in Premiership Cup level rugby, but still quite high level rugby.
Yeah, no, I agree. I agree. I think we could do with some more domestic players for sure, but I think even the ones we picked up, like Damo, and him and a couple other boys who've been really big impact
Yeah,
for us.
you got some more Canadians over there. You happy
couple
about
more,
that?
couple more Canadians too, for sure. Yeah, my roomies here. Can't forget about them.
Oh, nice.
Yeah.
Good.
Yeah. But yeah.
How are you feeling about the apartments and how y'all are coming together, just kind of in general, even off the field?
I've actually really been enjoying it. We're based in Fort Worth this year, and we're all kind of in the same apartment area, and really nice area around 7th Street. So like a bunch of stores and everything around here. So I think the boys have, I feel like a lot closer this year, just bonding wise. I think the culture is growing. Like I think last year it was still a bit maybe divided, but I feel like it's a lot better this year.
That's good.
Yeah.
I want to roll into our next bit here. So I want to talk about, I appreciate all the input over the last match. Certainly get a chance at the end to go over some touch points that we may have missed that come to mind afterwards. But I want to take a few minutes and talk about this next match coming up with Houston. So this is going to be this Friday at 7:30 at Choctaw Stadium. This is another home game for us. Not a whole lot of time between last game and this, or we're losing the day. I hate when it goes from Saturday to a Friday. I feel like we're losing the day of practice there, but still, it's going to be a great game again. Tailgating is going to be there. But Dave, I want to start with you on this one. Give us kind of your Houston. What do you see as their strengths and weaknesses? What do we have? What are your expectations?
All those sofas.
Well, you might see the shirt I'm wearing. So there's a keen interest.
Came out of here real quick. Hold on.
Oh, we got two
like
sofas on this call, so be careful.
Well, sorry, segue there, but Dewy, I noticed the announcers kept saying you were South African, whereas you're being introduced as Canadian. So, you know,
A bit of both.
taking the good or the bad there.
Soon a dual citizen actually. So,
Okay.
yeah.
Look, they have definitely improved from the games I've watched so far this year. They're better than last year, it seems. I mean, you've got a high-level coach over there, Heineke Meyer, and he's got a lot of resources to pull on. So I think we're going to be very careful with our gaps. I think they'll exploit those with a very fast forwards and back line.
And we can't get silly penalties anywhere on our side of the pitch. Kotze or Alatimu will make us pay big time. Both those guys are phenomenal kickers.
Okay.
Dewy, what's your thoughts on this? What do you think about Houston? What's the team feeling?
No, I agree with Dave. They definitely seem to be improved this year. I think when it comes to Houston, it's like physicality is like one of the main things that comes up first. Like they're a very physical team. All their South Africans, they have a bunch of Samoan guys, American guys. They're a very direct team. Like they'll hammer around the corner all day, and if they're going forward, they'll keep doing it. So I think, like you said, big importance for us to really set that line early and get off that line, because if we don't meet them when they get the ball, we're going to go backwards all day again. So I think physicality is a big one. And I think it's a good opportunity for us after this last game to kind of get our heads back in and get some – I think the boys are excited to get out there. I think this physical challenge, I think the boys are excited for it. So I think we're all ready. I think we're ready for a good challenge on Friday. Like we know what they're going to do, and we just need to combat that. So
you raise a good point there. I think somebody had said to me a couple of years ago, there is a very serious difference in how the game is played north of the equator and south of the equator. And I think and that was kind of like the easiest way to word it. And it really feels like you watch some of the games north of the equator up in the UK, and it's a very tactical game. And you watch the games to south of the equator, and I'm a huge All Blacks fan. I have been since high school. Dave, I'm going to kick you off the next podcast, I swear. But I tell you what, I love watching Springboks and All Blacks play. It's a fantastic match every single time they go on the pitch together. But there is it's like the sledgehammer versus like the finishing tap hammer of like the South is just, it's the sledgehammer. It's just, like I said, physicality, it's brute force. And I think this will be a little bit different than some of the teams we've played in the past. And I think we've got to be ready to take that hit, roll around it, get past it, and start looking for their openings in the line. But like you mentioned, I think it's the speed of getting that ball out there. If we take if our scrum halves take the extra second and a half to move that ball, it gives Houston a chance to form their lineup.
Yeah.
I think that's going to be tough for us to start making it through and making movements down the field.
I mean, clear. It's been clear as day, at least this year for me, that when we move the ball quicker, we're better able to exploit holes. We've got fast guys with good hands, in the centers and on the outside. Even our back row, especially, are quite good getting quick balls out. So as long as we keep quick ball, we really are a very dynamic team. I think that was probably proven last year as well. We just didn't have the defense to keep up with it. And I think, as Dewy is saying, if they bring the right attitude this weekend defensively, that could be the difference maker in this.
Dewy, does it change how you guys practice in the weeks before, knowing the different types of teams? Are there groups that will watch the team's history and say, for this match, we need to be practicing on X, Y, and Z more than last week?
Yeah, so every week the first day we'll kind of review the last game, just set piece wise and kind of miss opportunities, things like that. Kind of review the different blocks. But the next day we'll go into the both attack and defense versus the team we'll play that week, and we'll go through all their previous games. And obviously you'll look at what they'll do on attack and how we have to stop it and where we can exploit them when we're attacking with the ball. So every week we'll have that. We'll go through the set piece and what they do in set piece, how we can combat the set piece. For lineouts, we'll look what moves they do off lineouts. So every week, you go through the last games that these teams played, look what they generally do and what you can expect from them, and kind of build from there. Yeah.
Excellent. Dave, what are you kind of hoping to see out of this match? Do you see us taking a W on this one?
In my opinion.
I mean, right now, Houston is leading the entire league with points. I mean, I feel like they need someone to take them down a notch. Dave, what do you see going on this this Friday? He doesn't want to answer.
I don't, because I'm concerned. The second half, part of the first half, when we started gelling, we started moving the ball down the line. If we can do that again and we can run it at them, we're going to make a game of this. But if we fall apart, or if we come up, in my opinion, I felt the back sometimes came up too quick. Full back in the line, we had nobody back, and they just kicked back there and hurt us. And I think they will try and exploit that if they see that happening again. It's either going to be a good game or there's going to be a lot of beer runs.
So I think we've got to manage the kicking game as best we can, because Houston will kick the ball, and they've got great chasers. Damakina is phenomenal. Who's going to be playing on the wing? It'll probably be Dyer. I mean, just Dyer's a super dynamic ball in the air. He's got those 7 skills. We've got to beat them in the air. If we can beat them in the air with kicks and hold the line defensively, I think we can at least keep it close. We need to keep it close. The score's got to be somewhere in the 15-13, somewhere like that at halftime. Stay within 3 to 5 points within striking distance, and then just finish strong like we always do. The Maul has been so good. I feel like we got tortured by the referee this last match on the Maul, and I think if we get back to just committing to that, we can get a couple of tries near the end where maybe they're tired and we can just get a few Maul overs. I want to see, do we get a couple of tries at the end of this? Let's just finish it off there. Yeah. I've been saying, like, we started off the season, let's just kick to the corner and go for the ball try. And somebody's like, well, that's boring rugby. I was like, if we're winning, I don't care if it's boring.
Points on the board.
Dewey sitting there going, "Let me get 20 tries this season."
Yeah.
The hooker special.
Dewey, what's one big thing you want to see in this game against Houston that you want to see the Jackals do, or you want to see some kind of improvement, or just what would be win or lose if you saw what happened on the field? Would you think this was a personal victory?
I think for us, like obviously, like Dave, everyone, like it's a big challenge. Like we know that, but I think for us, I think playing a full 80, just having a consistent 80, I will say, like having a consistent 80, where if they score, we'll make it damn hard for them to score again. I think a full 80.
It's a bounce of the ball score rather than we whiffed on a few tackles or something.
We're not scared of this team. Like we know what they bring. Like obviously they're a good team, top of the league, but we want to focus on us this week. We want to focus on playing a full 80 and matching physicality. I think that's our main focus.
Get those set pieces clean.
Yeah, exactly.
I'm gonna make a brave expectation real quick, and I'm gonna say we win on Friday. I'm gonna say we win. I'm gonna say it's close. I'm calling 25 Jackals, 23 Houston.
Ooh, I think that's low.
Well, here's what I'm seeing. I'm seeing the ball. I'm seeing both the physicality of both teams keep the ball on the field and not let either one move. And I'm seeing rare chances of the ball make it through and get into the tries. So I'm still thinking we take it, but I'm thinking this is going to be a very defensive game to where we're matching each other. And a lot of that means I'm saying that the Jackals hit them hard and don't let them through a whole lot.
No, I'm going to go 33-32 Jackals.
That close. You want a real butthole puckering game the whole way through.
I think it's going to be higher scoring. I don't think it'll be in the 20s. We're going to get to the 30s. My hope is we can keep it on. We can get it on penalties. So I think if we can get just onto their side of the field with Elias or Vogan, get some penalty kicks, slow the game down. I think that's where we can win. Dave, be our standout here. Dewey doesn't know where you live.
Dewey's welcome for Bry anytime.
He doesn't know where your seats are yet.
I'm thinking upper 30s in the scoreline here because I see two teams that can run in tries.
Yeah.
And I think it's going to come down to that mistake here or there, which is going to allow a line break. And so I see a high-scoring game both sides.
Like almost 40 maybe.
Possibly. I expect both teams to get at least 4 tries, get the bonus point in there.
Excellent.
So,
oh man, just getting that double bonus point try, if we'd been able to get one of those mauls in, that was infuriating. We could have had 2 points out of that last match.
You say that and you look at the score from last week. It's so that spinoff when you came off, if that had worked out and then you had the knockdown try that we put in, that was a different game.
Yeah.
So
that New Orleans team is not messing around this season. That's a really, really good side.
Yeah.
So we're there. We're there. We're knocking on the dang door.
Yeah.
We need one of these big. If we can get one of these wins against Houston, Seattle, San Diego at some point during the season, that's when things really turned around.
Now, Dewey, I don't want you to jinx yourself, but do you feel like throwing some numbers on the table?
I'm just gonna say I think it's gonna be a close game, but I'm gonna keep my
10 points.
I'm gonna keep my thoughts to myself. I think.
I'm going to say,
I want a fantasy team.
Dewey's going to get 2 tries at least.
If you haven't joined the fantasyruggers.com, they do a weekly fantasy. Jump in, play. I'm in a league, 2nd place. Dewey's been hooking me up this year.
Nice. There we go. All right.
Yeah. Glad I can help you, Rick.
Yeah. Rick owes you some beers if he wins.
Vara, I'm trying to get Vara IR'd. I'm hoping he's not really hurt, but if he's not playing this week, that could really kill me.
Oh yeah, I hope his shoulder's better.
Is it shoulder?
It's his elbow, but I'm not too sure how much I can say about all that, guys.
Yeah,
but,
but he's in positive
Yes.
is good. Okay.
Positive vibes, but yeah.
Yeah. No, I know you can't say anything specific, but
Yeah.
just want to make sure he's doing okay. You know.
Yeah,
Like,
he's doing
some of
okay.
these injuries can be torturous, man. I broke
For
my
sure.
tibia playing basketball in college, and I missed 6 months, like almost the entire season.
I'm
Yeah.
It was just like I could do stuff, regular stuff, but I
Yeah.
couldn't play, and it was so torturous.
Yeah, it's
I was-
frustrating. It's quite a mental toll when you start getting injured in
Yeah.
sport. But
I was more disturbed by I can't remember who it was now. The Instagram photos of somebody's finger that was
That's
the-
nothing.
was-
Cam Nelson.
That thing back
That was
in.
Nelson. Yeah, Nelson. Yeah.
He's all good. He's a tough boy.
That was so gooey. Oh no, I want. Okay, so last rounds on here. Any final thoughts in the last minute or two before we say?
Oh yeah,
we say
so
goodbye?
let's get into some of the stuff at the game. So we got like 36 responses on the Facebook post. I think it was the most responded to post was what were things that people liked about the stadium, about the game, what didn't they like? And we need to be able to hear Lawrence, the announcer, better. I don't know if y'all can hear him on the pitch, the PA announcer, but we can't really hear him in the stands, and so I don't know if it's the sound guy is new or they just don't have speakers that are very good or what's happening, but I know that's still a common complaint. So hopefully, crossing fingers, they'll get that fixed.
And I know in talking with Lawrence, they are working on it, and it gets little by little better, little by little, but hopefully that keeps improving. It was much better the second week than it was the first.
I don't remember being able to hear him at all the first week. The second week definitely heard him more.
Yeah. But yeah, back to the first comment. I'm going to make those posts on the socials after every home game. Tell me your honest goods and bads. I'm not trying to flame anybody. I'm not. If you want it to be anonymous, I'm fine with that. I'm just passing the information along so that those who the organization can know how to better improve the fan engagement.
So I know a lot of people complain about how big the stadium is. I don't know if that affects sound, but it does look quite empty on TV. So when I rewatch it, I just go, yeah, it just feels kind of empty, and they're not really crowding everybody into specific sections. So everybody's kind of spread out, and they have people sitting in boxes, which aren't on camera, et cetera, et cetera. But I think my understanding from the players' perspective, it's quite a good stadium to play in. Even the opposing teams come in and really like the facility. Is that what you've heard, Dewy, as well?
No, yeah, like you said, everyone that's coming has enjoyed playing there. I think we love it because we get to train there. The gym's right there, our meeting room's right there. I do agree that kind of sometimes when the crowd's dispersed a bit, it looks a little bare, but I think we've had some good crowds out this year. It's been really good to see.
Yeah, I think that article that I read said that I think the average was near 4,000, which would be shocking to me. But hey, I'll take it at its word.
Is that including the concession stand employees?
That's more than the 2,300 from last year.
The cheerleaders, the concessions, the players,
and the dance guy. Don't forget.
the hype guy.
Caitlin, our hype guy, who's way over in the corner.
He's like super well known in Arlington. Apparently, I'm not familiar with his stuff.
Yeah,
I gotta get more on the socials.
As long as you guys are feeling hyped out there.
But that's the thing is, like, they're so far, the dancers and the hype guy, they're so far away from us. I'm like, what are they doing? I can't tell.
I tell you what,
get him closer. Get him closer.
The first week, I thought he was the DJ. And then last week, I realized the music had started and he hadn't touched anything. And I was like, he's lip syncing. He's faking it. That's not him doing it. Yeah. But no, he's just over there getting paid in pizza to dance. I mean, okay, that was a new one.
Yeah,
the dancers are great though. The dancers are legit. They're really good dancers.
Very good.
Just bring them up to us.
Yeah.
Let us see them. Otherwise, they're just dancing for nobody.
Yeah.
Dewy, a question about facilities. We were talking about facilities there. So being a hooker. And you're doing lineouts. How difficult is it to the players to know your bearings on the field?
Oh, God, considering with the lines, 3 different sports.
Yeah.
I think because we train there, it definitely helps because we get used to it. But
Okay.
there's definitely been times, I think this game, not even apart from the line out, we were kicking off and they didn't highlight the 50-meter line very well for the game. So I kept walking past the half line mark on kickoffs.
To the
And Liam
50-yard line.
Yeah.
I noticed that
just
as well. Rewatched
to
that TV. I was like, why are we kicking up for the 40? And then I realized,
Liam kept yelling, Dewy! And I was like, oh, shit, I gotta get back. So it definitely is frustrating sometimes for sure.
Yeah.
Because it can throw things off. I remember last year, another team had a maul and the guy went down and thought he scored a try, but he was on the white line, not the yellow line. So like maybe it's a little advantage for us because we're used to it. But
But it's very difficult for line-ins when if you're trying to get your 5-meter space, trying to sit behind that where you're going to. If I guess if you guys practice on it, then you've got it down. But
yes, they do have the 5 and 15 highlighted pretty good in yellow. So I think for the most part that hasn't been too much of an issue. But yeah, just the fact that there's 2 yellow lines is kind of frustrating because sometimes the other yellow line is the soccer line, and that adds like an extra 2 meters to your throw. So definitely don't want to stand there. But for the most part, we get our spacing pretty good. Our 5 and 15 is pretty good for the most part. So
Good.
I heard through the grapevine the reason we didn't have home matches on the national TV schedule was because of all the football lines and everything on the field.
I don't know.
We're not gaming.
I don't know.
He says, no comment. No comment.
No comment.
We can't get Dewy in trouble. All right.
I don't know, guys.
Well, hey,
Wink, wink, nudge, nudge.
I'm going to end it all on smiles. You guys, thank you so much for your time coming out. Rick, it's always a pleasure to hear all your insights on it. Dave, thank you so much for volunteering to do this.
And Dewy.
And Dewy, thank you as our superstar coming on this week. And like I said, the Jackal and the Watchers, this is kind of going to be the format of what I'm doing here on out. We're going to be recording this every Wednesday at 8 p.m. to go onto the socials the following day. We're looking to get one volunteer from the Jackal Den that was watching it either on their home TV or from the stands, and then one of the Jackals on here to talk to us about it. So we had Brock last week and Dewy this week. We'll see if we can. We'll just do the first 3. We'll do an all Canadian thing. We'll grab Richardson, have him on here next week, and we'll just move apartment to apartment right down the road.
We'll get Nick the following week.
Yeah.
Liam.
Appreciate everybody. Please
the
keep
Aussie
giving us
Canadian.
comments.
Gotta have our token Canadian.
No, I'm the South African Canadian. I'm not, I'm a little half each now. Half my life in one place, half my life the other. I'm kind of fake both.
No.
I hope they don't trash you for that.
These South Africans, they're mean. These South Africans are mean. They made fun of my accent. That's all I gotta say.
All right. Thanks again, guys.
Thank you very much. Have a great night, a great weekend. We'll see you Friday.
Awesome.